Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a little bit of a sad topic going on over here where it seems like the video game, overall industry is once again crumbling. Now, as you guys probably know, we've been seeing layoffs, especially in the tech sector, but as well in the gaming sector, where it's kind of breaking my heart. Like, I definitely follow a lot of folks that are either developers, community managers, or people who are overall just in the gaming sphere. Now, obviously, because I'm a Twitch streamer, YouTuber, and I've been around the industry for a while, I've met people when it comes to marketing, when it comes to sponsorships, when it comes to working with deals, or people even say that literally work at Twitch, literally work at Amazon, literally work at Microsoft, Xbox, or whatever it might be. And this is why a lot of this news is kind of breaking my heart, because even for, say, stuff for like Ubisoft, I've had a chance to work with proper contracts, especially my Twitch stream, and other various things, so I've met people that work at these companies, and they kind of keep the gaming industry as a whole afloat. But as you guys have probably been seeing, there's been layoffs, there has been people losing their jobs, future looming layoffs, and everything else, and it's a very scary thing to see. But right now, Ubisoft is actually a part of one of the bigger gaming dramas we're going to talk about right this second, where people are now striking, basically demanding better wages, and overall just expecting a lot more from the gaming sphere, all while everything is very turbulent too as well. So I'm going to go talk about this new upcoming story about, well, what's going on right now in the state of gaming as a whole, and as well what's going on with Ubisoft, where everyone's kind of just trying their best to even make it through the day. And I think a lot of you guys could probably relate to that one too myself. I'll be so honest with you guys, when it comes to life, when it comes to the economy, when it comes to everything is very stressful, especially for someone who does a lot of content, say for me on Twitch or YouTube. It's very, very scary because you never know like what's going to be your next viral video. What if people stop watching your videos or whatever it might be? And it's always a scary thing to be living in. So I understand the pain and fear of like you want to make sure you're getting paid what you're worth, with a lot of these Ubisoft people are going for, and also understanding too that it's a scary place to be, especially right now in the tech and gaming industry. So hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy, maybe even fall asleep to my videos. A really quick side note, if anyone ever does go and fall asleep to my videos, as like to my voice as I'm talking or rambling, that is the biggest honor. I had a few people go and say this to me, and it's like insane. So if you guys ever do, that's thank you very much. We have the Twitter and Twitch written down below if you guys want to follow, probably live up on Twitch right now. We have the Weeble links too as well, and I appreciate y'all for watching. Let's go dive on into this. So as I mentioned before, the gaming sphere is a little bit of a weirder, like scarier spot. Microsoft actually just recently laid off over 1,900 Activision Blizzard employees and Xbox employees, to the point where this even was facing a lawsuit when it came to Xbox. Like the actual government itself, due to them approving this Activision deal, was essentially saying, hey, like, you wanted to go make sure everything was the status quo and people didn't lose their jobs. Now you just spent $70 billion to go buy a company. Now you're laying off most of the workforce. What's going on with that? But as well, that also then frees up, in a bad way, like another 2,000 people that have to find jobs somewhere else in the gaming sphere. And it's really hard to find that. And that's why a lot of folks are scared, because they have to go and find these places, but as well, a lot of folks are still without jobs. But at the same time, Ubisoft workers are saying, hey, like, we work hard and we are not getting paid enough on all the stuff you're expecting us to churn out. So we have one side of the industry where people are losing their jobs. I have seen so many people on PlayStation, on Xbox, and other various other places, basically, well, not knowing what to do. They don't have community management stuff. They don't have like jobs. We saw for Destiny, they lost their anti-cheaters, which has basically made cheating as a whole going insane. And it's nuts. So 700 Ubisoft workers now that are kind of not trying to go take things in their own hands, and they're actually striking right now in France over failed salary negotiations when it comes from Ubisoft. Now, game companies as a whole usually do make pretty okay money. These past few years especially, they've been churning out profit. There has been money up the wazoo, and they know what's up. Like, they're making some pretty good bank. But at the same time, some of the profits have been starting to fall. Basically, as less people are buying games, more stagnant games, and well, Ubisoft has been on a weird cost-cutting / layoff spree. But right now, people are like, we want to get paid more because we're working hard. So they're protesting right now, and this is where the gaming is everywhere. Like, we're having some places losing their jobs and laying off people. We have some places with looming layoffs. We have people that are actively losing money and having to shut down because their companies or their games are not making enough. And now we're seeing even people striking when they just want to get paid a fair wage. And they're saying the message to Ubisoft's management is extremely clear. Over 700 unionized Ubisoft employees working across the company's French studios have taken a part of an organized day of strike action after annual salary negotiations fully collapsed. So right now they're not even getting paid enough money, that, at least in their opinion, and they want to strike against Ubisoft. The strike, organized by French video game workers union STJV, and this is why sometimes unions are strong, because unions together could basically go and form an alliance and basically have a lot of leverage towards them, which was the Syndicate des Travailleurs et Travailleuses de l'Udulio Livrial. Imagine that with an open mouth. Took place on the 14th of February across Ubisoft's Paris, Montpellier, Annecy, Lyon, and Bordeaux studios. So the STJT had called for action at the start of this month, saying annual salary negotiations have reached an unsatisfactory conclusion. Probably saying something like, hey, we've got inflation, we have money coming up, you need to pay us more, and they probably didn't. In recent weeks, they also wrote a statement shared at the time. Mandatory annual negotiations on salaries have taken place in several Ubisoft entities in France, and the STJV was obviously present. Despite concerted efforts by union organizations to find acceptable compromise, negotiations hit a wall. So the STJV accused Ubisoft management of offering a budget for increases below inflation for now the second year in a row. Said the company was hiding behind a purely arbitrary cost reduction policy. And how do we correlate this contempt with our CEO's extortions to gain agility and efficiency? It wrote, how could we accept such a low level of increases when the company boasts of a second quarter, well beyond our expectations, while wanting to pay tribute to exceptionally commitment to the teams? This reward system seems very poorly balanced. They're basically saying like they're just not having a proper cost effort balance to pay out the workers. They're not sitting with inflation, and they're basically saying like, hey, a lot of these policies are just like abnormal. Like you're basically focusing on the company as a whole rather than your employee and your workforce, and you're not really caring about inflation and the average employee, and that's what they're trying to go fight against, which I respect. Like, I like the idea that they at least have a chance to go make this known and fight for it, because if we don't have the people working and making these games that like Xbox, PlayStation, Ubisoft, or whatever are doing, they're not going to be making games. They're going to either leave or they're going to go have these big union busts like this where things are just not happening. And now I do want to give some credit towards, I think, Microsoft and PlayStation. They do usually pay people a pretty well wage, and they do well. Like they have stock options, they do okay. Some places obviously are like 30, 40K, which at this point is like almost insulting. But we've also been seeing some folks who are in the upper like, six figures, or game devs can make some good money, which is nice. They'll have like stock, retirement, dental, health insurance, and everything else. And I think that's good stuff to have. We want to make sure our developers making games are taken care of. But when it comes to this stuff, like you also make sure they can pay their rent, buy food, and not feel like they're on, like death's door when it comes to everything else. They're saying that a company that continues to make profits, despite multiple deficient management, decides to make employees pay to increase its profits. Basically saying like, hey, like they're going to not give us money and they're going to make sure their company itself can make more money is unacceptable. The STJV finished by calling for strike action for all French entities belonging to the Ubisoft group. So right now, these game companies, as of the 14th of February, are all just striking. Like, if you guys want to look through other pictures too as well for all these things, Ubisoft right now is quite literally striking. We're seeing everyone outside these Ubisoft companies, and they're basically saying, like, we need to get paid more money, we need to go do well, and everyone's kind of grouping together and, like, protesting out what Ubisoft is doing. And once again, we're seeing all these other various game companies, such as PlayStation or Xbox, also losing employees. Now, that's not necessarily due to, like, lower cost or whatever, they're just laying people off, which sucks. But like no one wants to deal with this. Like no one wants to have to strike just to have fair benefits, and I respect them for doing so. Like just in my honest opinion, if you're not getting paid a fair wage, you should be getting paid a fair wage. So following Wednesday's strike, the basically shared an update on social media, writing that it had finished counting the numbers and nearly 700 employees took part in the nationwide strike. The pickets were very well attended, and we're particularly grateful to colleagues from other companies and students who came out to lend their support, proving that the struggle will always bring us together. And they're basically saying like, hey, if unions are coming and we can't go and deal with this type of stuff, then guess what? We don't care. We'll leave. Like, if you guys can't deal with these like issues, you can't go pay us a living wage, we're out. And it's intriguing because they're saying in a studio where each project erratically follows another, time and long-term vision required for the employees' welfare is disappearing. Basically saying if you want to keep on making these Assassin's Creeds or let's say Rainbow Six updates or whatever, you need to have the team in place to be like that knows, who have been in the community, so they know what the community wants or what updates they need or what people want in the next future Assassin's Creed games. And I think that's true. Like, we want to have the people who made the good games keep on making better games and keep on working so they can have like good budgets, good time, not have game crunch and everything else. So the STJV's concerns of employees' mistreatment coming from a year that has really been devastating too, and I agree. Like, it seems like right now the gaming industry as a whole is in a very scary spot. No one really knows what's happening. No one really knows what's going on, and people are worried about their future, their jobs. So I want to hear your thoughts on all this, because I give more power to them. I hope they get what they need and have a raise, because they need money. I get it. It makes sense. And I want to keep on playing games that I care about, and I want people who enjoy the games and make the games also happy and well-fed and not having to have a horrible life. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Swing by Twitch, you guys are bored, and the Twitter too as well. And I appreciate y'all so much for watching here in the first place. Love you guys.